Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of This Dude Talks Too Much. And today, we're going to be going over Halo Kart, both the video and the mod, and I'm going to try and not be too boring. Though, no promises on that. Right off, let's just get started with the maps. These are pulled directly from Mario Kart 64, and then have been heavily modified to work properly with the Halo engine. There's a lot of little changes I've made, like changing some of the layouts. Like in the original Yoshi's Valley, this is actually a path the other way, and I switched it around to help balance out the overall speed of the map. Additionally, things like these two-dimensional collision fences, these have been messed with a bit on some maps. Like here's a fun trick for you if you want to ruin yourself in a game. Just run directly into the side of a fence, like head on, and you will get stuck inside of it. I guarantee almost every time. This is because Mario Kart was a very old game and used a lot of 2D collision and like bounding spheres because that's what was efficient at the time. Halo uses more complex physics objects that don't really play well with the idea of zero depth, and you will just get stuck inside of things that are two-dimensional like that. So these are a constant issue, and I've tried to sort them out as best as I can throughout the mod. But of course, there are still places where you can just get yourself screwed over. An example of one of the ones I fixed is in Banshee Boardwalk. All of the railings have an extra bit here that I've added that was not in Mario Kart 64. This bit prevents you from getting stuck in the side of the railing, because it would be a serious problem on a map that has pretty much railings all the way along it. I believe I talked about portals last time for the Curse Halo video. I'm not going to talk about them again. These are portals. They're for occlusion. With a lot of these maps, I don't have much to say besides, I had to fix a lot of the geometry. For example, on Banshee Boardwalk, all the tops of these things aren't modeled, and I had to model them back in and unwrap them, because without that, it won't compile, because it's not a continuous mesh, or single contiguous mesh, or something like that. There's a terminology I'm looking for that might be right about. Regardless, a lot of these maps are pretty much as you'd expect them to be, pretty much 1-to-1 for Mario Kart 64. Examples of that being changed would be like here with Bowser's Castle. The actual Bowser's Castle in Mario Kart 64, none of this stuff is modeled. Basically, I actually modeled in the physical castle all the way around and like made it a full mesh, because once again, Halo requires you to actually structure everything out like this. If you don't, it gets very pissy at you. It has a lot of problems. I actually built the whole castle, and it's all physically there, which is rather funny. It's mostly 1-to-1. There's just a few changes here and there to make it all work. So let's talk about some of the more interesting things, like the animation set. So you may have noticed that there's a very Mongoose-esque animation set for the Wart Karts. This is completely custom, and it was a pain in the ass to make. Let's go ahead and gotta find that. I believe it's this one. So here's our base animation. Notice so the only thing these extra pieces, which I can't select, they're not even selectable because I made them freeze. Yeah, I forgot about this. So the warthog and the person in the front seat is just a reference. All the animations are for the backseat driver or backseat passenger, and the plasma rifles he holding is just a literal placeholder as well. This is just so I could actually animate this and have it kind of sync up where it should be. Now the important part is really just this animation, right? God damn it. Aim. That's what I'm looking for. So this animation right here is an interesting animation that I had to learn a bit about to actually get this to work. That defines the looking bounds of every direction. So you notice there are 4 frames for low, 4 frames for middle, and 4 frames for high. These define looking all the way backwards and down, to the right, straight forward down, to the left down and back again to the down, which actually there's 5 frames per. Listen, I'm not good at counting. I'm only good at other things. So yeah, then it has the same thing here. We go around, and this defines how Master Chief looks in a direction. And there's animations like this for pretty much everything in the game, but this is the only thing in the game, or let's just say in the base game, there is nothing that allows you to look in a full 360-degree arc like this. Most of the time it's bounded to 90 or 180 degrees. A good example of this being the passenger seat of a Warthog. In the base game, you can't look a full 360 degrees all in directions. You can only look, it's like a 270-degree arc, something like that. But yeah, this is the only thing in the game that actually lets you look all the way around like this, and it's not really used very often because it's not necessary in the original Halo. But for this particular thing, I needed it. So I had to work with some of the smart people in the Halo modding Discord. Thank you, Shelly, in particular, for helping me with this because, man, it was a pain in the ass. So yeah, this whole animation set, this took a lot of time to get this exactly right and make it completely functional. And there's still some bugs with it that I kind of worked around, like with the I posted on Twitter at one point a bug. I'll just show it because why not? It's going to be right in here somewhere. Wherein, this was a while ago, wasn't it? Yeah. Master Chief wouldn't look in the direction that I was shooting, and I don't know why this happens. And I ended up just baking the head animations into the aiming animations, but he just looks in the opposite direction that you're aiming, and it's so weird. No idea why that happens. Still don't know why that happens. It just happens, you know. Sometimes it just really do be like that. So yeah, that was a thing. It was a big thing with this. There's also a bunch of animations for motion. If you'll notice in the original Halo, when you're driving a Warthog over a bump, you'll notice Master Chief bumps up and down. These are actually also defined like this, where this is front and back. So motion, when the Warthog is accelerating forwards, it pulls Master Chief backwards realistically, and when it's decelerating and sliding, it pushes Master Chief forward. There's a set for these going up and down, and there's a set for going left and right. All this stuff has to be defined, and I had to just kind of guesstimate where everything should be to make it work, and it turned out well enough for me. I mean, it's not perfect, but who expects perfection for something that's made quickly for the fun of it, and it's not like a bajillion people are going to play this. It's more just for the spectacle in a way, honestly. But yeah, so let's look at some other things. Penguins. Dude, this is like my magnum opus, man. This animation, bruh. Look at this penguin. Look at this penguin walking in a circle. Bet you wish you had the skills to pay the bills like this. It's so bad. All the different hazards in the mod have animation files like this, and they are all exactly 450 frames long because, well, we'll get to the coding part of this at the end, or somewhere in here. It'll eventually come up, but everything is 450 frames long per cycle. The same for the thwomps. They're in here somewhere. Here's a thwomp that slides back and forth on a 450 frames. 450 frame. Why can't I say that? How in the world? I'm kind of tired. You know, I'm trying to stay high energy here, but I'm exhausted. Technically, the video's not even done yet. In this timeline, the video's not even finished yet. I'm recording this ahead of time because I'm planning to finish the video tonight, so I'm gonna be up the rest of the night. What an artist does for his work and all that's just fuck my sleep schedules. Oof. What is this? You know, I actually don't know what this is. It's just called Tree. Holy shit, I have no fucking idea what this is. That's kind of funny. I'm sure if I thought about it for a while, I could figure it out. I got a couple things like this start sign, stuff like that. Just different objects that are used in the mod repeatedly. I think it's about it for the model section of this, though. I think we're good. We could talk about this. Oh, I know what the tree is. It's a sprite object. I'll show those in a little bit. Yeah, here's the Comic Sans Y. Yeah, fully 3D Comic Sans Y that you can pick up and hit people with. There's totally a good reason for me doing that, I promise. Anyways, moving on. Let's go ahead and minimize there. Jump. Oh, we already have this open, so yeah. But let's just go ahead and check, make sure recording is still going. Good, no problems. All right. I guess we do have to talk about code, probably. Yeah. All right. Let's just pop open one of the maps that I like. This one's one of my favorites, actually, for bad reasons. I think the ice physics are fucking hilarious. You can become the drift king, though you can be the drift king. Like once you get used to the slidey on this map, the sliding on the ice physics, oh, you can be the drift king. But most of the time, everyone just runs into the wall at the start, and then everyone crashes into the water, and it's great. So this is one of the maps that has hazards, obviously. It has the penguins that, if you bump into them, they will murder you. You'll notice they don't actually move in the editing kit, and that is because everything that they do is on the scripting engine. And so we're forced to finally talk about the scripting and the coding, even though I was like, maybe I should put this off because it's the part where everyone's going to stop watching the video. But no, it has to be done. We have to talk about scripting. And boy, was this basically the entire development cycle of the mod, was developing this script to make this work. All right, so HaloScript is a Lisp-based language, which means you use parentheses for everything. And it is not really feature complete. Just to list off some things that HaloScript does not support. While and for loops, which is immediately like everyone who knows programming is like, how did you do anything with it if it doesn't support those? It does not support arrays. It does not support functions with parameters. It does not support properly returning objects out of a function, such as conditional returns. You can get around this, obviously. There's workarounds for this particular thing, but I ran into some problems where there's some bugs with the language itself, and let's see some other things that it doesn't support. Sanity does not support sanity very well, I would say. So let's just say it doesn't support arrays. That's the big thing. Big arrays and loops are not supported. Now, how do you work around this? Because you have to have these things to do anything useful with a language. You'll notice these big blocks here, like eval vehicle name. So these are my arrays. They are static functions that return based on the game's tick. A specific object from a list that I have written out fully here. Now, what this means is, on frame 0, we update the first player and the first warthog in the list. On the frame 1, we update the second player and second warthog in the list. So what I'm saying is, we don't since the language doesn't have loops, I use the game's actual frames as counters in a loop. Essentially, where a script runs every frame, and depending on the modulus of the frame, which modulus is not actually supported either, I just calculate it. We update a particular person. This means that not every player is updated every frame, and there is delay for a lot of things. So players are updated twice a second, since there are 16 potential players and 30 frames in a second. So you get two player updates a second. 2 vehicle updates a second, and item boxes are another thing, because so we'll talk about item boxes. You basically drive through them, and then if you drive through an item box, it gives you a grenade or a power up. And these are these things listed out here for each map, because I have to actually script every single object in the map to make it work correctly. So you'd say, only updating those triggers twice a second isn't enough. And I immediately thought this was going to be a problem because, yeah, if you only check the trigger to see if a player's driving through it twice a second, they're going to be able to drive through the whole trigger without it triggering most of the time. So for those objects, we actually check 4 of them per frame. which means I have to write the same piece of code 4 times for all the objects. Great, cool. And so the item boxes get updated, I think, 8 times a frame? Something like that. Something close to that. Enough times that you generally won't drive through them and trigger and fail to trigger them. It can happen. It just doesn't happen very often. You have to be going pretty fast and be unlucky. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Is all of this code is very, very hacky and roundabout and weird. My workaround for so like I said before, functions can't have parameters. So if you want to call a function and pass it a parameter to evaluate, you can't do that. So what I've done is I actually write my parameters in globals and assign them. so instead of like being like just calling set lockout with a parameter of 4, I instead set parameter values to what I need them to be, and then call the function which reads from those same global values. It's workarounds, hackiness. It's great. I guess I could kind of describe some of this functionality. Really, I understand that this is... I'm going to try and get through this really fast. Sorry. Like I say, I understand a lot of people don't care about this. This is the boring thing. Yeah, most of this stuff is just... If it says... Sorry. Basically, this is the main loop. This runs every frame. This calls the various static functions that update the game's various aspects. So you have players, vehicles, equipment, hazards, music. Players basically checks to see if you're in a warthog. It checks to see if you're out of your warthog and on the track. It checks to see like if you're alive and if it should be even like bothering with you. It checks to see if it should be giving you spawn protection. Vehicles basically make sure the vehicles respawn correctly, because the game's standard respawn functionality doesn't work. So I've basically overwritten it with my own custom system that places the warthogs back where they should when it needs to. It also makes the vehicles impervious to explosions when they're in the spawn zone, because if the vehicles are in the spawn zone, I don't want people to blow them up with rockets, because they'll go flying everywhere and it'd be a pain in the ass. So I just like nixed that entirely, made it where when you're in the spawn zone, there are no explosions, essentially. Equipment does the power-ups, and like I said, it's basically code like this, where I assign some variables and then call an evaluation for a power-up, and it checks to see, hey, is a player in this power-up trigger? Should I give them a power-up? If the timer, it checks to see if the timer for the animations is up, and like all the power-ups are animated through scripting. So when you drive through it, it triggers a bunch of script functions that say, okay, make this power-up play the animation of it blowing up and then respawning and, all that stuff. Update for hazards. So not every map has hazards, but some of them do. I guess we should talk about synchronization. Oh, God. I don't know if I can even explain this in under an hour, but let me just put it this way. None of this naturally synchronizes over multiplayer. All of this is broken in multiplayer, but I wrote this cute fucking function, all right, called server check, that checks to see if the instance of the game it's running is the dedicated server or client server, or if it's like a player who's connected over the multiplayer network. Now, what it does is it waits for there to be any players in the game, and then it tries to unit kill you. Now, if you're the host, or if you're a dedicated server, it will kill that person because you're the host and you're allowed to do that. You are the man. But if you're a client, when you try to unit kill someone, it doesn't work because you're not the owner of the game, and what your client says doesn't matter, so it doesn't work. And that's how you detect if a player is a host or a server. Now, there's other ways to do this, but they don't always work because they're based on vehicle respawns, which doesn't work in race, and race is important for this, so blah blah blah. But this is like a nearly foolproof. Now the thing is, there is a 1 in a million chance that this fails and the whole mod breaks, but I have not seen it happen, so I'm pretty sure it's safe. But it can happen. I just want to point that out. It's like the tiniest chance in the world. You have to join the game on the frame another player dies, who just so happens to be in the 0 spot of the player list. Like, that fucking specific. It's stupid, but it can happen. that's why it's stupid. So yes, that's this is fucking it's mad genius territory. Like This is like this is like stupid genius. And it does work, and I'm happy about that, because without this, the whole mod breaks. And most of the functions do check against this. This is server function global value. Like this defines, should I run this or should I not run this code? Because if a client runs the server code, everything breaks, and if a server isn't running the server code, it breaks. Just this is duct tape. This is all duct tape. Just imagine you're looking at a giant screen of duct tape. Also, I haven't brought this point up. Some of you who are programmers or no coding will probably be wondering why I have this open in Notepad. I programmed this entire thing in fucking Notepad. It's a flex. I'm flexing on you. I don't need an IDE. I can. I'm not even fucking joking. Like, listen, when I program in Linux, but Halo doesn't work in Linux. I mean, not natively. It does work in Linux with some wine shit, but I mean, it doesn't count. I'm not installing an IDE on Windows. Fuck that shit. I wrote it all in Notepad. I wrote this whole fucking thing in Notepad. Fight me. You know what? And I am very good at syntax now, because when you don't have an IDE, you have to write perfect syntax every single time. It's great. Anyways, that tangent aside, we're still on this, I know. Let's talk about synchronization, how hazards synchronize. So, as I said before, none of this shit synchronizes. If you just set a penguin down with an animation, what will happen is on every single player's screen, it'll be in a different position, and when you run into it, it will cause desyncs, and it'll just be bad. It's just bad and broken and horrible all the time. So we have to have some way of synchronizing the position of the penguins so that everyone's penguins are in the same place, because if they're not in the same place, game fucking breaks. Now, the way we do this, and some of you are gonna laugh, is we drop this warthog on this biped, and that tells everyone when to restart the animation for the penguins. I'm not joking. This is how this does it. You crush Master Chief. You have a random Master Chief in a box over here. Like, this is like underneath the map where no one can get to it. These are like special cubes for this. You drop the fucking warthog on Master Chief. It kills him, and that tells everyone, okay, reset the cycle. And I'm gonna show you this by actually opening it up in game and showing you it happen real fast, because I feel like it's just, you need to see it to understand the beauty. What am I doing? And I'm saying right now, this is high tech. This is high tech shit, dude. This is the only way to do this. There is no better option. You might be thinking, oh, there has to be something smarter or better than that. I'm trying to find a map and I'm failing. Sorry. There's got to be a better way to do this, right? Like, come on, that can't be the only way. No, this is how you do it. This is how Halo work. This is what I went through to make this fucking mod work. There they are. So look. So fucking warthog. All right. Wait for that. Oh, it doesn't. Oh yeah, it doesn't spawn. Fucking. Sorry. I have to start a dedicated server. I forgot. I actually wrote it so it doesn't do this when you're the host, because that would be pointless. My bad. That's not the right folder. God, we're almost past this, I promise. I swear on my mom. HK Sherbert PB1 Slayer. I haven't actually compiled the final build, so we're still using the public beta to test. Yeah, no, I'm not exactly the most organized person right now. This is ooftage. I swear I saw it. I swear. There. Oh, no, I didn't see it. Shit. I feel like I should probably just write my damn IP address into the direct IP thing so I don't have to try and find my own server in this mess, but hey, some people be dumb. And I'd be one of them. Alright, so yeah, here we go. So there's our biped. There's two of them. I'm not going to explain why, but there's a reason, I promise. We have our warthog over there jiggling. Boom, killed him, resets. Now, every time this biped dies, it resets the 450 frame cycle, which once again, this is all calculated out. It's galaxy brain. It all comes together. Everything is connected. The warthog, the dead dude, the penguins, all of it. everything is connected. All that shit works, and as a result, the penguins in here are always perfectly synchronized with the server. You can actually see them jitter a bit sometimes, depending on how much lag there is. But yeah, everything fucking works. It's beautiful. It's cute. I'm gonna show. I'm gonna prove it. Not that I need to, because you guys can play the fucking mod. That's not gonna work. And yeah, that doesn't work. And it doesn't work on a dedicated server. What am I doing? Fuck it. We got time. So yeah, this pretty much wrapping up everything to do with the coding for this. Let me just rephrase how fucking ridiculous this is. I can't fucking believe this mod works. Let's talk about one of the bugs. There's one bug that I might be able to fix, but I'm not going to, because it's honestly not worth the fucking amount of time that it would take to debug and confirm the fix. When you come out of the spawn room, you have spawn protection. You'll notice I currently have a small amount of overshield. It kind of just drains down as you go. Whenever you come out of the spawn room, you get an overshield, like a half an overshield for spawn protection. Now, if a player leaves, it shifts the whole player array down one, and as a result, sometimes people randomly get overshields when they shouldn't. But it only happens when a player leaves the game, so I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. It's pretty fucking rare. But that is like one of the bugs with this. But yeah, see, like the fucking penguin, it's gonna bump me, push me out of the way. It's correctly synchronized. If I throw a grenade against it, it's gonna bounce off and be in the right spot. If I fucking put the warthog like right here and get out, it'll push it out of the way. Well, you know, if I if I put it in the right spot, that is. Yeah, there we go. See, all fucking works, and you know what? I'm happy with that. Also, they bleed because I am a sadistic motherfucker. Yeah, you know, fucking cool. What are the cool things to talk about? So let's talk about the textures. Let's get off scripting. No more scripting. Someone noticed this during one of the public beta streams, and I was kind of surprised because it's kind of a detail. It's a very detail-oriented thing, but I don't have texture filtering for these textures. They're actually like Minecraft blockiness, like on purpose. And I did this on purpose because I think it looks better. And this is something that's subjective, and I actually wonder what you guys think personally. Oh, wait, also there's real-time reflections in this one map. This one map has real-time reflections. Isn't that neat? Like, it actually reflects everything off the ground. I just feel like if I could do it, why wouldn't I do it? It's cool. Well, yeah, so on textures, yeah, they're all blocky and Minecraft stylized, where they have the sharp edges and it's all pixelated. The original game is not like that. The original game is filtered and it's all blurry. But I think this looks better, personally. I really like the stylization of this better. So I did it this way, and I wonder what you guys think. Do you think it looks better pixelated and kind of stylized like Minecraft, or do you like the filtered, blurry look of an original N64? Let me know, because fucking I kind of wondered if I should do it for a while. It took me I did it both. I tried both ways and kind of made my decision based on what I think looks better. So yeah, that's pretty much that. These effects are kind of nice. They're not really so in the footage from the video that was during a beta where this didn't work correctly, but these actually pop like that. Yeah, it's an animation. It's like an animation I did, and I like the way it turned out. It's really nostalgic looking. You know, it's something simple, but I think it's important to like getting the right feel for like a Mario Kart mod. Sorry about the beeping in the background. That's kind of the result of one of the scripts makes it where if you're outside of your vehicle on the track, you lose your shields to prevent people from spawn camping. It's just like a balance thing. Let's go ahead and get the fuck out of here. Rip. There's also there's kill boxes in this mod too, because that would not have killed you if you fell down there naturally. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's what else should we show on these mods? Oh yeah, that's a good thing to show for sure. This is for all you cuties out there. Oh my god, where did my camera just go? Okay, so this is a actual credit scroll for everyone who's a patron thing, donor person. This actually takes 4 fucking ever because it's really long and I can't speed it up because I can't speed it up because it's multiplayer and you can't change the speed of a multiplayer match properly. So yeah, this reads out all the patrons. Thank you all of you guys. Helps supporting me doing stuff like this because it takes a lot of fucking time. It also has a special thanks list for people who are like testers and other streamers and people who help develop. So special thanks to you guys as well. And yeah. I'm not going to sit here for the whole thing because it's long as fuck. Sorry. You can check it out yourself because it's always playing on this map. God, these fucking lights don't look good. This is what they look like in Mario Kart 64. It just doesn't work. The effect does not work as well in Halo. It just doesn't. I don't know why. Anything else? Like, I guess I should set the green screen. So I'll show you guys my green screen studio. So this is more to do with the actual video and less to do with the. Ooh. I wonder why that happened. Did I do something wrong? Exception. Why exception? I loaded this up earlier. Okay, I don't know why that happened. That was weird. So here's my green screen studio. It's kind of neat. It is a pretty much infinite void in every direction for me to work with. And also here's this. This is actually an in-game object I made and put on a green screen because it's easier to do this way. Yeah, this is just straight up an object. Like, it's kind of neat. The Pretendo logo. Also, Nintendo, please no sue. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Don't get mad. Jesus. Yeah, fucking infinite void. This is also how I got the rotating shot of the Warthog itself. You see how this thing is spinning? I can actually object attach. I believe it's that. Yeah, there you go. I can attach anything I want to this rotator to like get a nice like glamour shot would be the word, I think, of it rotating like this. I guess that's the way to put it. You know, you can attach players to it too. Objects detach. There you go. Just getting you that out of the way. Objects attach. Yeah, there you go. Now I got a player attached to it. Kind of looks like he broke his back too. Poor guy. Makes him invincible, oddly. I didn't know that actually. Huh. But yeah, so also these extra Spartans, these are for possession. So you can actually use this command to take control of other characters. You can use this to control pretty much anything you want in the game engine. But yeah, let's fucking switch to the yellow guy, switch to the blue guy. Useful for machinima purposes. The reason I have all these different colors is actually because of the opening sequence of the video. I'm gonna pop this open because it's kind of cool. I have to find it. It's one of these. Pretty sure it's that one. Oh yeah, Photoshop is expensive. So here's the title card for the video, which boy, this took a long time to make. So how all these different shots were put together is I actually used the scripting engine to load vehicles and freeze time with them moving, so I could get these nice shots of the warthogs like in a corner, on a green screen, obviously. And I then just photoshopified them to look nice. I had to like add a zillion layers to like get the lighting and stuff right. Like, you notice that this is all the lighting and stuff is added in post, shadows, everything else, the background, and make this big old title card thing. Yeah, just it's all custom made and painstakingly put together. And yeah, I think it looks quite nice. So it really does match the original style of the title card for Mario Kart, and I think it turned out really good. I was like really happy with this. Yeah, there's that one, and then here's the one of the sprite lists for the item blocks to like make the shattering effects. What else? What else is there? Some icons. Yeah, these are the different icons for the words. The words, the item block, like interior icons and stuff. Oh, we should talk about the sprite objects. These are interesting, I think. At least they're interesting to me. Maybe not everyone will agree. Just gonna skip the timer because, you know, who needs it? So these objects, in the original Mario Kart, all these cows are just 2D sprites that have like rotational things on them. So I've basically done the same thing, where each of these cows is just a particle, and you can completely turn them off by I think it's like rasterizer. Show. You know what? I actually don't know how to. I wonder if turning off the particles in the settings turns them off. It does. Yep. So yeah, they are just particles that are locked in place on a scenery object, essentially making it the weirdest hack of all time because they're particle cows. Yeah, I did this because I wanted to keep the style of them being 2D facing sprites, and this is the only way to really do it. I couldn't think of any better way, at least. Maybe someone out there has got some smart idea where you could do this. Trees are like that too. The only downside is that they definitely don't always render correctly, where you'll have bleed through like that, where they render out of order. I'm sure there's some magical way to fix that, but I could not think of one personally, so I just didn't bother. You know, it doesn't make that much. It's not really that big of a deal anyway. It's a very minor issue. Yeah, you know, I wanted to keep that style, so I made them 2D sprites like that. I could have done a lot of other things, but I didn't. Haha. How about that? There's a sniper on this map on top of the bridge, because the bridge is actually fully collidable, which, you know, why not take advantage of that? Same thing with these 2D fences. You can just hop up on them. You can also go to the edge of the map. There's the spawn zone over there. There's nothing out there but grass, so have fun. It's great. Yeah, alright. So let's talk about another fun thing was the so physical collision. So one other thing that's kind of noticeable, if you saw this a few times, was when you're driving on the pavement, like on the track, it's all super smooth. If you go off into the grass, it's all bumpy and it slows you down, especially when you're cornering. The way that this is done, and this is super hacky and kind of interesting quirk of Halo's physics, is that there's a parameter in material types that's depth of physics nodes through a surface. Now, this is essentially saying, like, when you're driving through snow, the wheels go a little bit deeper into the snow, kind of like, you know, you'd expect it to be. Like, you know, you kind of get the idea. And what I've done is I've made it where the depth of the material for things that are not on the track, so when you're off the track, is just about the same depth as the bottom of the Warthog. So you're kind of scraping and bumping on the ground as you're driving, and that's why it's all badoop badoop and bumpiness. Kind of, it's like the only thing I could think of, because otherwise you'd be able to just drive off the track without consequence, which I didn't really want, because that's important to have those consequences of like being off the track. You're meant to stay on the track essentially, and that was the solution I came up with. It works well enough. Could have been better, but you know. There's also the opposite effects for the boost pads. There's only boost pads in this one map, but it gives you perfect traction when you're on a boost pad, which means you'll accelerate to full speed really fast. But couldn't actually make them boost you, sadly. So here's our Comic Sans Y, our camera, and our boom mic. These were literally just used for machinima purposes. Probably gonna move them to a super secret location in the final build. Yeah, they're just for machinima. They're just funny. I wanted to have some dumb jokes, so I made these things. Yeah. Yeah, just that. They serve no purpose. Let's see, anything else on this map? I think that's about it for this stuff. I think we're getting through most of this stuff. I don't know how long. It's already been 40 minutes. Oh dear God. Could have suicide in the water. Okay, let me think. Anything else that was interesting in particular? Not that. I think we've covered just about everything. I guess we should talk in more general terms about some aspects of the mod. Let me get on a map I actually like, though. Yeah, there we go. So let's talk about some general terms about the mod itself and like how it plays. So we did 2 beta tests. The first was with Kraken and a whole bunch of streamers, and the second was on my stream specifically. I needed to record more for the video. So the big issue with the mod, and the reason I don't think it plays particularly well, like it's fun, but as soon as you try to like even remotely play competitive, you realize how busted it is. As soon as one player breaks away from the pack and gets out in front, there is no way to catch up to them. The big problem is there is no catch-up mechanic in Halo. There's no way to, in Mario Kart, the thing is rubber banding, where when you're in last place, you get better items, and sometimes you go faster, depending like on how it's, which game we're talking about. But when you're in first place, you're at a disadvantage, so that other players have a chance to catch up to you. Halo doesn't have that. And the biggest problem is that while you do get grenades, and you can throw grenades at people who are ahead of you, when you're throwing a grenade forward while driving forward, it doesn't inherit the velocity of the Warthog, so you can only really throw Warthogs about as fast as you're driving, and the result is you can't throw very far ahead of you, but you can throw really far behind you, which further hurts players who are behind, because then people in front of them are throwing grenades at them and they can't throw them back. So the issue is just that because I can't use a checkpointing system, and because there's not really many options, like I can't, like one of the things I talked about in the video is I can't have power-ups give you weapons, which the obvious answer is to have power-ups give you things like sniper rifles to try and snipe the persons or people who are ahead of you. I can't do that, and so there is no catch-up mechanic, and there's no way I can implement a catch-up mechanic. So if you get in first place, you're probably gonna win. Now, the counter to this is on the smaller maps. Now, like Moo Farm and Sherbet Island in particular, are the very best maps to play are the small ones like that, because they're super chaotic, and when someone inevitably dies and has to like get back into Warthog and go back to start line, whoever's in front usually is kind of it's very common for the person who's in first place to end up running into the person who's in last place, and there's like the opportunity there for that person to get knocked out of the race and to actually shuffle around the order of people who's in first and second and third. And that is probably where the game mode in particular shines on those kind of maps. So if I was going to suggest playing the mod, I would suggest playing on the small maps in particular. The big maps are fun, like Yoshi's Valley, but they do have the problem that once someone gets ahead, they're going to win pretty much every time. Barring your own fuck-ups. Now, it's very easy to just accidentally go flying off a cliff or run into a wall. As I've changed the driving physics a lot, I'm gonna run into this egg just because I can. I changed the driving physics a lot, and they're more complex than original Halo's driving physics, but it's not so complex that you can't just hold W and like drift around every corner perfectly. It's not hard. So once people actually get half decent at the mod, it kind of takes all the fun out of it when everyone knows how to drive perfectly around the corners and stuff and not make any mistakes. So yeah, that's the core issue of the mod, is that it's too easy to have gaps, and the big solution is to have respawning in vehicles and to have checkpointing work properly, but it's just not possible with Halo 1's game engine in any reasonable fashion. So this is the best I can do for Halo 1. Now, I swear to God, Give us the goddamn mod tools. 343. We need real. We need real 2020 Halo modding to happen. I really want that. I really want to see better mod tools with better networking support, better scripting support, and just in general, a better experience for modders, like to make way more complex and interesting game modes and stuff for Halo 1. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I hope it happens. Please hear my prayers. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about for that. Yeah, that's. I think I've covered just about everything. Hopefully this has been enlightening for everybody who is interested in the mod. Once again, feel free to play it. It is fun. I definitely would recommend people who are like streamers and stuff, doing streams of it. Because the people who played it, like all the people who played it with Criken and stuff, they all seem to really enjoy it, despite all the problems and bugs and stuff that were in that build. So I could say that, not even just from my own perspective, because I've had fun playing it, but other people have told me they also really enjoyed playing it. So I get that there is that surface level. It is fun, but I really wish it could have been better balanced and like a little more competitive. Not even like competitive, just like, you know what I mean? Like it's a bit better balanced. There's more of a direct competition going on, not just one person getting out in front and winning. It's just hard to, I'm stuck with the tools I have, and this is the best I could do. Is there anything else I should talk about? God, I'm just trying to work through. I think we've covered just about. I could talk about it real quick. This mod uses all custom weapon objects because I nerfed all the damage values because I realized quickly that if I kept all the damage the same for all the weapons, that most of the races would end in the first 5 seconds because Halo's weapons time to kill is pretty low. In this mod, I think that the time to kill is about 2.5 times longer for most weapons. Even the rocket launcher only does half a shield, or it does a full shield, so half your health. That was kind of to prevent the games from ending instantly when people got close to each other. That was something important that I had to rebalance. There's music in the mod. You can turn it off in the settings. It doesn't always work correctly because Halo's music engine is busted. Not my fault. Blame Gearbox. There's some flamethrowers on Bowser's Castle that don't work right because of a scripting error. I think we've covered it all. I think we're good. Thank you all so much for being interested, and I hope you found this interesting and these kinds of rants. In the future, I think I did say there was something in the video I wanted to show. Was there though? Oh, fuck. I can talk about that. I guess talk about the fact that you'll notice there's 60 files here, 70 files here for frames, for zero punctuation frames. This I have a newfound respect for Yahtzee Croshaw, because now that I've animated one of these fucking things for just 2 minutes, only 2 minutes of it, and it took a good solid 4 or 5 hours just to make all the different frames for this. All these put together myself. I have the source file here somewhere. Where is it? Where is that stupid thing? No, not that one. CP components. Yeah, all the different pieces. Yeah, I made all the pieces, so you can actually see the paths if I turn them on, what they look like. They're just basically vectorizations of these things. This took a little while. I kind of liked the way it turned out, though. It was a fun thing to do. It's great. I've watched Zero Punctuation since like 2007, 2008, something like that. Basically since it existed almost. And man, big fan. Great show. What else? Oh, here's the credits file. It's fucking huge. I can't believe this even compiled. It's It's an 8K image, I think. Yeah, it's 1024 by 8K. For the Patreon list. This is why it's so fucking long. I know. Here's the actual. This is the thing from before. Everybody who helped out. So yeah, bruh. Good fucking image. Oh god, what in the world? Okay, thank you for that, Internet Explorer. I don't know what that was about. Okay, I think we're clear. I think that's everything. Hopefully. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and hope you have a wonderful evening, day, night, morning, breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies.